couple of days ago, I was the first to beat Unalloyed Malenia. Let's see how people responded. Let's start with the build. I use double straight swords for their good range and speed. We wear some armor and the immunizing charm to counteract the rot. 2 damage talismans, and finally the crucible feather talisman for extra iframes on our rolls. Some preserving boluses to cure the rot, and flask effects focused on stamina and damage. I use Godric's Great Rune to save some levels, and end up at level 150 with a quality build. At the start of the fight, I immediately sprint away and jump in order to position myself for a punish if she does an uppercut. To be safe, you must attack as soon as possible or you will get hit. After hitting her from behind, we can roll much more aggressively for extra punishes. When she hops left, attack right as she lands. Light rolls often position us well for extra punishes. I roll behind her first to avoid nasty follow-ups. Once she buffs, we have to be extremely cautious. Most of her recoveries can be instantly cancelled, sometimes with an attack that can hit us, before we can move. During the 1.0 Waterfowl, she will attack faster than we can roll, so we must cleverly go around her to avoid this trap. Each part of her Waterfowls is modular, meaning we must react to everything appropriately very fast. Sometimes I need to sprint back in order to outspace her attack and punish. As her buff phase ends, she does a Romeo Waterfowl. Go behind her, roll back, create space. Lock on, roll forward right, then forward left, forward right again, forward left again, and then 3 tight rolls backwards. The first of those 3 is almost frame perfect without Crucible Feather Talisman. When she performs 5 prosthetic slashes, we can jump over the follow-up. As phase 2 starts, I immediately run back as close to the wall as possible. We need to position her Waterfowl to leave space for the end of the fight. For this dive attack, you cannot roll both the clone and her at once, so we need to strafe the first clone first. For phase 2 Waterfowl, we rotate around her, roll back twice, roll through the clone, roll past her, line her up with the clone, and then Bloodhound step through. Outspacing her hits is still the best way to get punishes. Here we need to lock off to roll consistently into the blind spot. With tight timing, we can roll multiple attacks at once and get a better punish. Ideally, we want to place the second Aeonia as close as possible to the first and to the walls, but I was too far away, so it's pretty poorly placed. For the next sequence, we need to time and position our rolls carefully. Roll, wait, roll, 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 keep going in the same direction, wait a little bit, roll, and immediately look at what she's doing next. At about 40% health, she will line up her final Aeonia. First we need to dodge an assault of clones and her Waterfowl. We should also be running towards the previous Aeonias to get a better placement for the final one. Unfortunately, I placed her quite close to the center of the arena. This left me with little space for the final phase, but just enough. In this mod, it's very easy to craft lots of preserving boluses as the recipe is cheaper. Anyhow, the clone phase is almost entirely scripted. They will do the same thing every single time, so it's a matter of memorizing how to dodge them. The next clone's attack comes out very fast, so it's tricky. Lastly, we get 2 clones at once. We must roll their attacks a bit early to leave enough time to roll the next attacks. I finally drink my Wondrous Physic to buff for the final phase. As she heals and prepares for the final phase, we can fit a few weapon arts. This actually triggered her to do Waterfowl instead of her scripted normal opening. In the final phase, she will often deploy 3 Scarlet Aeonias. Don't strafe too early, or you'll get yourself trapped. Always strafe the clone and roll her attack. The mod recently got an update, making this attack much more difficult, requiring a tight strafe and dodge at the end of it. I ended up quite close to the Aeonias, so I had to back off. Her flurry of kicks is very hard with medium roll because it tends to mess up the camera. Here she played quite passive, backing off, but we could have actually rolled forward and gotten extra punishes. For the 1.0 Waterfowl, we again need to dodge 4 slashes with only 3 rolls. Then we need to roll through her clone, line her up, and quickly dodge through both of their final flurries. If you don't line them up, you will always get caught. After one last flurry of attacks, we abuse the jump and finish her off. After doing the Millicent's questline, we can get an alternate ending where we save Malenia. In the last video I showcased this as well, however, I was missing some dialogue, so be sure to watch to the end. I'll speed up through the flashbang and showing stats since I already did that at the start.
Bravely fought, my lady. But remember, one day the scarlet bloom will flower again.
Thanks very much for watching.